ESL One Cologne is brought to you in part by Intel, Vodafone, MSI, DHL, Alienware, Betway, Logitech G, and Pay Safeguards.
Big have done what not many thought possible. They've not only got to the quarters, now they find themselves a map ahead. Cologne celebrates, and I'm here to analyze with my analysts. I do have YNK and Thorin residing, and we're going to be trying to understand and comprehend how G2 fall flat on Big's map pick. They managed to convert it, albeit not easily, into overtime. We venture once again, seems to be a recurring theme with the German team. So starting with you, Yanko, the fact of the matter is, Big's map pick, you said, I'd love to see Inferno. I imagine them winning this does increase the likelihood of that, and perhaps we're going to have a real series here.
Oh, definitely. I'm impressed, actually, by the fight that G2 put up. I mean, we didn't know much about their cash, but we saw some very good things, especially in the first half after being down 4-0, winning 7 consecutive rounds, switching things up time and time again. But funnily enough, for all this talk about, existence, finally being back in the Tier 1 scene and everything playing with Shox and Kenny, it was actually their T side that failed them ultimately after winning the pistol round in the second half, first gun round, putting rounds on the scoreboard. That's where, after that, Big got the map as a whole on lockdown, and G2 was struggling to find an answer.
I mean, Duncan, it's crazy when I look at the statistics here, not only for some of the members of Big, but Kenny S.
Yes.
We talked about Retro Kenny. What an example we got given today.
Yeah, hard to really say he put many feet wrong in this particular game. But I think that kind of ties into Yanko's point here. Like, he did most of his work on the CT side. He was absolutely dominant there. That's why they were in actually the winning position. But unfortunately, when they got to the T side, as much as you had Kenny S, you also had Smooya. He was getting a lot of CT pickoffs. And then, for me, it's always a sign that you're not really well run on a map when you keep just trying to force B over and over again. When you haven't even managed to get it successful. It's not like you had 3 rounds in a row where it worked. So when you do that slow, you just go into B every time. That's just a panic play for me. And so I don't think they made the best use of Kenny's frags.
I think the problem is the reason why many teams hate Cash, Navi, for example, is because people think like mid, you cannot hold it. And it's such a pain in the behind, right? Because you cannot hold it throughout the round unless you commit too many resources, and even then it's questionable. And what did G2 do in the second half? That took them a very long time to try and take mid control, and Big was giving it to them. They were playing in the sides. Maybe Tabson was playing retake towards A with the AWP, right? But they were focusing mostly towards B, and G2 didn't exploit that. They were holding in a very passive default, waiting for pushes, and then they would just try to go towards the side. A lot of times it was towards B, and not only did Big have players there, they also have utility saved, and they had Smooya with the op, so you need to try either and chase him out, try to bait out that utility, and yes, there were a lot of close rounds, but it was always G2 having to make them close when Big had the upper hand.
Yeah, my expectations exceeded as well for the Brit. I thought that this pressure was going to be, this was going to be where we start to see the cracks in Smooya's gameplay. He held B relatively competently. He was always taking at least one with him. It was quite refreshing to see that those big players, those less experienced players, are still fragging.
And he was very good in the clutches, actually.
Yeah,
like that was one of the areas, like if you have to give an edge to Big in this one, the clutch factor was way more on their side. Most of the times if G2 went around, they just fragged everyone early on. So that, believe it or not, it actually looked like the nerves got more to G2 in this game.
And while we're talking stats, of course, still fresh in our memory, we just had them up on the screen. The advanced stats tell quite a story as well, Yanko. I just saw flash assists is often a column I don't necessarily pay too much attention to. It's usually 1, 2 dotted around. 12 flash assists on the Big team. That's demonstrative of what these guys have been playing. Could you see that in their gameplay?
Yeah, I mean, when you're hitting B so much and rotations coming in, the flash that comes over heaven, it's super powerful. We even saw a special lineup from one of the guys that's all the way towards CT spawn and then a jump throw. So they really put a lot of work into their utility usage. I mean, they have 50% more utility damage than Astralis does. And we were talking about in the previous tournaments how Astralis is out of this world compared to everyone else. So that just paints the picture really how good Big is when it comes to also Molotovs, incendiaries, and HE grenades.
Absolutely. It was something you kind of referenced earlier, Duncan, and it's a bittersweet tweet, but it is coming in from Pasha, and we've received word that he's been watching at home, as have all of you guys at home as well. It comes in from Pasha. Now, I don't necessarily think I could explain this. Perhaps you can.
Sure. Well, what happened was almost 8 years ago, I think it was the 28th of July, this player called Six, who'd come with GOB from a lesser team, and then they'd come to Mouse Sports together. They'd made Mouse Sports one of the best teams. They won the major together. They were actually, like, maybe I think the number 4 team in the world at the time. They were traveling to an event. It was IEM, I think 5 Shanghai, and unfortunately, Six missed his flight, and on the way home, when he was driving back with his girlfriend, he was tragically killed in a car accident. And actually, this was one of the reasons that this Mouse Sports team gradually broke up over the year, because they lost a lot of motivation to play. He was one of the star players. They couldn't really get over it, you know, and in fact, GOB, it was thought he would retire permanently. He was one of the players, along with Capio, saying, like, maybe this is it for me. And then as the years went by, you know, he played a little less seriously. He gradually started to get back into it. CSGO came along. He rediscovered his kind of passion for the game. And obviously the last couple of years, we've really seen the resurgence of GOB. So yeah, a very key kind of pivotal moment in their careers. And so I think it's kind of just cool that Pasha was kind of, you know, giving light to the fact that, yeah, you know, you're doing it for one of your old school kind of veteran teammates.
And I'm sure if Six could see how far Counter-Strike has come, he'd be nothing but proud of his teammates and, of course, of the game. Now, moving away from that one and, of course, soon to be into the next map, we do have an opportunity to hear from a rather passionate fan. I'm sure it was really hard for you, Trace, to find a German fan here in the Lanxess Arena.
You know, believe it or not, no. I actually found quite a few. So many that I had trouble selecting just one. And with that being said, I'm standing here with Nicholas from Tria. My man, you've been to Cologne before. How do you feel about this event?
I'm feeling great. It's an amazing crowd here, and after the last map, it's really popping up.
Really popping off. I actually like that verbiage myself. Now check it out. Big are just one map away from going to the semis. What do you think, man? Are they going to do it here on Dust2?
I do believe they can do it. Of course, yes.
Okay, that was pretty confident. I tell you what, I don't exactly know German. That's no secret. But what would you say to this German crowd behind Big Clan to get them going?
I would say something like, Köln, lass uns die Franzosen nach Hause schicken, oder?
Woo! I don't know if they heard you, man.
Lass uns die Franzosen nach Hause schicken, los, sing mit denen!
My goodness, it is definitely popping off around here, Alex. You might want to take this one away.
It would be my pleasure. There's some passion here in the Lanxess, that's for sure.
That was terrifying.
That was like...
Release the crack.
Woo, that was like their equivalent of the hacker from the New Zealand squad. That's what we need next, New Zealand Counter-Strike players. But let's stay on topic, because I want to make sure we can cover everything. Dust2 is up next. And actually, I'll start with you, Janko. We've seen G2's Dust2. We've seen pushing Astralis was something you referenced earlier. Is this where we're expecting to see the French once again hold the favorite title?
Definitely. I think the problem for them potentially might be the fashion in which they lost cash, right? They had the upper hand, they were leading, and it's very important to be able to mentally reset after a map like that. You need to look at the big picture. The remaining 2 maps are much stronger for you than cash is, right? And for someone like Kenny also needs to stay composed, because he is going to be the pivotal player on Dust2, obviously with the op and everything. I think Big, though, they seem to be in the zone, right? Even in the rounds that they were losing, it took them a little bit of time in the first half, but then they adjusted. And ever since then, it seemed like they knew what they needed to do. They were dialed in, and it just came down to the execution. And not only did they execute, they managed to, again, grind the game out in overtime. So that speaks of their own mental fortitude and their resilience.
Have we seen too much from Big on Dust2? I mean, this was a question mark in the veto.
They beat Liquid.
Yes.
Right.
So they had one win on
everyone else.
It's not a map generally that they've been going into, though. It's true. Like, in fact, actually, that's the thing about the first 2 maps. G2 was expected to lose on Cash. Big's probably expected to lose on Dust, but I would give them a slightly better chance relative to where G2 was supposed to be at, because we hadn't really seen them on Cash. The big factor here is, as Janko says, you've got to have Kenny S immediately. He can take over the game. This is a map where you could have even more impact. And then it's actually been the CT side, generally, of G2 that's been so strong on this map, a traditionally T-sided map, obviously. So if they can have those great setups, actually they were particularly good around long, so it's not like the other teams where you can attack there.
Knowing how much Big prepares for their opponents, you know, an interesting dynamic for G2 actually is that most of the time it's Myths and Existence that are holding B, right? Which is obviously an important bomb site. You have a lot of mid to B splits. You have to have great coordination. So I'm curious to see whether it's something that Big will try to exploit on their T side, go for more hits towards that B bomb side.
That was a similar question we asked in the Na'Vi game. Will you target that weaker bomb site, especially so notorious to retake? And final words are left with you, Duncan. We're going into that second map. What are we expecting here? What are those conditions we look to be met?
Yeah, unless, as Janko says, somehow G2's mentally broken and they have a hard time getting back in, or Kenny's tilted and frustrated, I expect there should be more business as usual, I hope. Godby, as you mentioned there, has done his homework, knowing that if Dust2 is available, very likely G2 picks it. Therefore, hopefully he has some great strats, has some good reads on some of their setups. But I think this is the chance for G2 to get back in, get into a third map, and then let's have a great series.
Let's have a great series. Map 2 then. Will Big close it out here? Germans historically powerful on Dust2 with a French stand in their way. It's time to find out how map 2 plays out.
And map 2 equally as exciting as Cash for all the fragging reasons. It's going to be Dust2 as Shox and Co will start out on the T side.
Oh yes.
Keep in mind when the ops come out with the teams that we've got, it's going to be incredible. I think Smooya is really showing some form. Maybe he was right about being at 40% in Brazil. Maybe he was onto something that they had more to show, and I think he individually has stepped up. Good play from Shox to take long, but watch Tapson. He can cover off this by pushing back up.
He's going to encroach towards the top of middle here, but there's players waiting for him. That's going to be Smiths, but he's dealt with in due course. Now Tabson got a lot of trouble. He's got a player in towards lower B as well. That will be Body, but somehow gets away with it. So nice work by him. Brings it back into the 4-on-4. Now remember, this is G2's pick. We expect them to find it, but Tizian, that's a beautiful shot. Takes down Body, and now all three players for G2. Matt, they're towards long. They don't have a smoke for the cross. And that's a massive problem because they don't have any upgraded pistols apart from that one. Kenny S, who managed to drop over 40 frags in the first map. Now he's got a fighting chance to challenge him. But the A site is seemingly clear for now. But Godby, he'll reside towards short. He's got nothing to really hold them off apart from the man advantage. So they'll have to concede and let the bomb go down here.
So with the bomb planted, they have the advantage on the retake side of things, but positionally, it's a problem. Tabson tagged up, is going to get chased down. Good read by Shox, knowing that he'd done damage early on. He will work now with Tizian. They're in a bit of a tease because they're all coming from one position, and there's a kit in play on Tizian's belt, but he's got to get close enough to the bomb. First, no ammo left over for Kenny. Tries to go for the knife, down to a one-on-one. Still enough time if he gets on it now, Tizian. The jump, oh, he might have time. He might just barely get this. He's got the kit, he might just barely, I'm not sure. It's so close on the opening round, and once again, big pull off the impossible defuse.
Shoxy bested in a 1 versus 1 against Tizian. He was almost non-existent on Cash, and he comes in with that amazing performance in the pistol. 4 kills for him, and taking down one of the most notorious, powerful players in clutch situations. Tizian, what a round that was. What is this tomfoolery there? Did Kenny just legit run out of bullets, or did he wanted to reload? I guess it might have been a mixture of both, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think it had to have been reload, right? Because he's not running a CZ, he's not like he's low on ammo on a USP. I think he just got carried away or didn't think he would get the reload in before going down.
Definitely would have done, and that's cost him. Shoxy jumps up to check whether it's the full defuse. Didn't work out, and Big steal the pistol. There's going to be a force buy in the third. That's when the AKs come out, but this still could be a little bit uncomfortable. But 3 kills come in for Big. Just going to be very relaxed as they find 4 kills existence. They know exactly where he is. He's got a Glock and upper B. No bomb plant coming in, but the AKs still come out in the next round. And there we have it, 2-0. Big justifying their invite of sorts, being here in the arena, taking down a map against G2. Cash as well. And in terms of that sort of map, the way it traditionally plays out is normally we kind of say it's synonymous with fast pace and open fragging. But they showed us a different side to Cash. They showed us if you save the utility, those smokes, those incendiaries, you can save those at the 25, 30-second mark. All of a sudden, you've locked them out. It seems like G2 had no access to the side. They couldn't do anything about it. Great communication. And to get into round number 3 here, Godby will make it to the pit, but it's going to presumably cost him. He's got flashbangs coming in, and this has been a massive problem for G2. Down he goes, Kenny S, another great shot by him. And there's the reaction though. This is perfect from Big. I'm really enjoying this. As soon as you lose long and you've got a call that 3 players are there, you can assume you can find a bit of room to wiggle towards the B tunnels. Look at Tizian go. He's in T-spawn. Can he take down Smiths? Not quite.
If he had, that was the bomb as well. The fact that he went that far around, that's what Smiths went back for. Nade, you're right, doesn't quite go far enough. Smiths was low enough that it would have taken him down on 37 HP. Meanwhile, Existence in mid has got problems. They're completely surrounding him. Flashed off Smooya from the door. Tabson was above.
Look at the teamwork. This is just why they're operating so well in this tournament. Smoke down, that's from his teammate. Tabson can fall back now, but he wants to fight a little bit. That will cost him his life, but he has tagged up Kenny and Smiths. They're both low.
There's a whole side plot to this, and it's, never mind. As always, Henry, I start to talk about something and it's taken away. I was going to say that old altercation in middle, but a lot of time Shox was working up toward the car. They will get a smoke down, but there's a gap in it, and Smooya has sought it out as he finds Kenny and Cross. It's now just 29, but watch behind. Smooya once again outplays them in the smoke. 4 kills overall. He'll grab an AK-47, and they find the 3rd round on the big side.
Amazing shot from Smooya from CT spawn to the car, with FAMAS no less. That is not easy, and that was a round it felt like G2 had it in their control for a little bit. But that teamwork, that coordination, and like I said, the push in towards B tunnels is so perfect from Tizian. He had a rough game on Cash, but this is looking so much better for him. The fact he trades out that kill in towards lower B, and then gets in towards T-spawn, funnels him towards A, was just absolutely everything there. So it's going to be another eco now. Body's got the Julies out, interestingly enough. They are a little bit cheaper these days. Shoxy though, down. He will go. Nice opening pick from Gold B as he patrols those long doors. Didn't take any damage, 5 on 4. Good stuff so far from them.
So Catwalk will be the approach. It's Nex and Tabson that will try and clip their claws. Smith takes an 8, goes down to 16. Gob B, meanwhile, working all the way around behind them. Sneaky as always is pushed down from long. MP9 at that range, still makes it work. Headshot to body, that will do. Calm down as well on the back of that. Knows that he can't necessarily sit there and guard it by himself, but if he backs off and uses some utility, he certainly can. As Smooya pushes back out to collect on all of his good work, 4-0.
4-0, big in the driving seat here. Already up a map, and a fantastic start here on G2's pick. Could they find a 2-0? That would be absolutely absurd. I don't think anyone would have predicted that coming in here today, but there was a lot of question marks around Big, whether they could perform on the stage, all the players without the experience, and Nex famously can't really handle the pressure, but he's played amazingly so far, and you're right, Tizian tagged up as they cross. They didn't use the smoke. I think they went for the HE approach, which makes sense for a team like Big. They won those smokes at the very last minute. So still a 5 on 5.
I'm not even sure. Oh, they did do HE, you're right. I do see the detonation now. I didn't think I saw one at all, but they got one down. So they off in the hands of Kenny, dishing out the early damage. Now for Smooya, he likes to hold on to that AK that he's carried over. Currently 6-1. Tizian is 8-0.
It's not bad, is it?
Certainly not, just considering we've got 4 rounds done. No kills so far on round 5. Double smoke down toward the B tunnels. Tabson will start it off by getting Smiths.
That was really well played by him, using the smoke, as usual, to get himself some positional control. Isolates Smiths, takes him down, and he falls back successfully. There's no trade potential there.
Keep an eye on the default as well. I think when they bring out the AWP, Smooya's playing B. If they want to bring that to car, to bring back that sort of meta where you swing off of long, they might not go as aggressively on Catwalk, but knowing that they've got a rifle at long, knowing that Gobi's already covering off middle, Tabson can afford to be slightly aggressive in that situation because everything else is being watched. Now that they've gotten that kill on Cat, they do go back to a more passive stance where they've got an anchor in pit, Tabson to swing and watch anyone who drops down, and Gobi to completely cover off from the ramp toward the site. Now that includes watching out against the run boost. It didn't go very far. And they won't go much beyond landing either, as Gobi take body down, immediately knows there had to be a second one there, but can't find the angle. Existence, meanwhile, has dropped down. He has gotten through CT. And that's a big problem because they're not ready for it. Tries to spray all the way down into a transfer at pit. That's a bit bold as Smooya puts him down. Shox can still capitalize, but there's only 8 seconds. They've got to get the bomb in position, and they can't. Kenny knows it's round over.
I'm not sure Existence, what year he thinks it is, but I don't think he's going to handle that spray control at that range. Bloody hell, that was ambitious. He could have gone for the control taps there, maybe had a chance. But there it is, round 6 will slip by. It does Tabson, nice opening pick at the very start. He smokes off deep towards shore, uses the slight gap to bait Smiths into the corner of the flashbang, takes him down, falls back safely. And at that point, the long hold, finding the kills, trading them out. Gob B, solid this tournament, I have to say. Nice shot towards shore. using those flashbangs to push Kenny S back, who got tagged up already, and Existence had the only sort of window of opportunity for G2 there, and couldn't do anything with it. It slammed firmly shut on his face. As we get to round number 6, Kenny saved the AWP here, Matt, but obviously he gets no cash for surviving the round. His teammates' maximum loss bonus at this point, but they're not going to force into it. They're going to round number 6 with just an AWP and a CZ so far. I expect that to change. I expect a bit more than Glocks. There we go. Deagles and some Kevlar makes sense. And Kenny S has got the best B spawn possible. I would say follow Kenny right now. Indeed, just that. Let's see where he can open things up here. He knows. He takes a deep breath. Just saw on his camera. He has to deliver here. Does he run through the flames? Not quite. He is taking damage from them, though.
In they go. Off to guard. Tizzy in to hold it off. You're right, the smoke completely segregates them. There's nothing Kenny can do to respond. Meanwhile, bomb goes down inside of it as well. And despite that they want middle, Shox doesn't have access. Next, and tabseN could try and work their way back in. Now, there is a cubby behind the door that's a bit of an addition or a change, if you will, in Dust2 that never used to exist, but it doesn't even matter. tabseN's completely aware of it, and Shox is caught.
This is looking really promising for Big, as tabseN will hit Kenny there and take him down to 11 HP. Remember, he's the only player who has any sort of real weaponry here. The AWP is absolute specialist weapon. He's currently on 1 and 4. Some would say his home map. He's done some disgusting things in the past on Dust2. And number 6, though, seems like it's going to slip away. Big looking for 6 rounds in a row on the CT side of Dust2. That's pretty phenomenal, considering the context of the matchup. A team that was invited based on their region, this being their home country, and they're proving they can compete at this level. They've been in the doldrums the last few months working on these strategies, this synergy. Smooya will go down and give up an AK-47. 4 on 3 now, but next with a good spot. Should be able to capitalize on this frag. A little bit scrappy, but he gets it. Existence left in a 4 versus 1 with the AWP at 20 seconds, and not really much he can do about that. tabseN, he is looking so good at the AWP, man. That's a side of his gameplay I don't think we've ever casted before. He was great back last year in the major, you remember that, but we never saw him too much.
I would say March to July, he was in the best form we've ever seen him, but you're right, the op was never part of that. That was strictly on the rifle, so they lose the op that time. Having gotten Existence down in the end, he leads the way with 3 kills. That's all they've got going for them on the G2 side as we enter round 7. Now it is a max loss bonus. Kenny is still only on a CZ.
Yeah, because he saved the AWP before and he got no money, so he just got $3,400 now. So he went for the utility and the CZ instead of like a Galil and some Kevlar. So Smooya this time on the AWP, joining tabseN for the first time. They're going to rush short here, throwing caution to the wind. Will they go for the execution? That was a very classic French approach. Get short control, smaller smokes, especially if Existence's teams. Oh my goodness, so the utility! It's doing so much damage! Will they even get further than this point? All 5 players getting destroyed by the HE grenade. My goodness, they need to be very careful. It looks like Big have got that number.
That must be infuriating.
2 nades to the face. Oh, off we go, boys. That was a good idea. We're just going to call that one.
Yeah, exactly that. He's like not even going to continue with it. I'm out. Well, back around to Word Long. Shox was the only one that wasn't there, so he still has 100 HP, but he's going to have to be perfect entering in against Goppy, and then even then, if he gets that kill, you've got tabseN toward the A site. And the longest approach, the longest linear corridor in the game. The AWP, that's promising. Goppy, perfect, finds Shox. There goes your 100 HP player. Body's close enough, he might be able to capitalize, but he swings and not far enough. Flash gets him. 2 players will eventually overwhelm. The smoke on the corner allows them to drop inside of the pit, and in doing so, take tabseN's aggro, which means Body gets him from range as Smith's approached up close. That's actually well executed, considering the HP from G2 and how little they had to work with. Very poor throw to get the bomb across. Smooya just barely didn't have time to get rebolted and reset to find the kill. That'll allow a plant for Smiths, but he's still in a 1 versus 2 on top of the site. Smooya jumping.
Oh my God, good night, Smiths. He gets the jumping P250 in French style map. But it's the young boy from Britain that pulls it off, P250. And the defuse comes through. It looked like G2 had it all covered, but a nice little pinch up from the long doors. Takes down Kenny S. Smiths with no choice but to get the plant down. And a jumping shot to finish things off. Goodness gracious, things couldn't be going better for Big right now. Let's have a look at the replay. So he throws this incendiary to deny the default plant, but that's what we're looking for. The jumping shot, the 1 bullet. Oh, he's having an absolute party.
Unreal. He's loving it.
Yeah, really reveling in the atmosphere in the stage. Existence, not so much. He had a pretty shocking performance on Cash, and now he is top fragging that, but guess we've had 7 rounds played. He's top fragging with 3 kills. That is not good news for Existence and Co.
Yeah, everyone else is on 2.
That is, for a map like this, my God.
So 7-0 on Dust2. I really did think. Now look, we said it. G2 had a great start to this event. The one thing with this format is it's a long way to go through the lower bracket. To get from 2 groups of 8, double elimination, best of 3s, you get to see a lot from teams. Anyone who went through the lower bracket certainly earned their place here. On the upper side of that, you didn't get as many games. G2 came in and played 2 exceptional games where Kenny went off, and I think that was a big part of it. That's why I said at the start of this, we were going to find out more about G2 and themselves rather than what they can do against Big. It's going to be, can they continue that form? Can they keep success going their way when they've had so many problems internally in the French scene in that lineup over the last year, bringing Existence back into a top team, bringing Smiths away from the coaching role. Honestly, for them to make a semifinal would have been overachieving in my opinion. So I wasn't convinced they necessarily would have the depth, but against Big, you thought maybe they could overwhelm them with skill. That's showing not to be true. Smoothie is taking the battle to Kenny S. Tabson's just being Tabson and looking absolutely incredible. And I don't think they have the tactical prowess yet to recover.
Oh, okay. Kenny S does pull one back, gives him a lifeline here, but Nex continues to find them the man advantage, but Kenny S going to take care of that. Doesn't even want to plant the bomb just yet. 2 versus 2. Will this be the first round for G2? The only way they've got it is because Kenny S has got 3 kills with the AWP. They're not watching tunnels.
Yeah, no, they're not. Goppy's going to walk back in.
Why are they not watching tunnels?
Easy. Now, Existence does respond swiftly with a great shot that leaves him on 100 HP. Bodies in the open, and it's Tabson again! That'll walk back in, and Lagia loves it.
Oh my goodness, the crowd loud and proud for Big. As we'll see, another 1v1 clutch, and really all G2 have got right now is Kenny S, man. They don't seem to have the executions. They're getting completely destroyed by utility. And Tabson just wrecking Kenny, Existence I should say, and the last shot. They are loving this. 8-0 on G2's pick. Top fragger is now Kenny on 5 after 8 rounds. Shox trying to use a long spawn here. Tabson's there, doesn't connect the shot this time.
Forced to flee, they'll go back toward the car. Tabson still holding with the AWP, doesn't necessarily have anyone to switch back out. As Nex puts his focus down towards CT spawn instead. So he can easily be locked into that corner. They don't have a Molotov to make that really painful.
Oh, Existence, do you want to go any further than that?
Smoothie is ready for this. This is incredible. Pre-scoped, tagged. He's got to get around the corner. He might just have the space to do it. On 6 HP, he'll get back inside of the site. Now he has to watch out for nades. Plays back toward boxes. I thought maybe you swap him out toward middle instead and bring Tizian in. He's comfortable, I guess, holding with the AWP in that position.
A familiar scene. G2 held off by an incendiary, and now Smoothie with the low HP, presumably that's him on the platform. Good position to be in. He knows he just needs to get maybe 1 or 2 frags. Good position to do so. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
He still manages Existence. Good smart shot, took the odds rather than the chance, and he could have had a lineup body. We'll put him down. Low HP was a clean headshot. Tizian drops bomb, however, and backs off through the door. Gets away. Kenny's on 26 as well. And now they've got window to control. A perch high above. And it's Father from the nest as Goppy finds one. It Shox immediately to pull back on Nex, but he's got nowhere to go. And the Godfather shuts them down once more.
Gotta ask yourself why G2 have picked this map. They don't seem that hot on it whatsoever. Big, great game from them. However, everything is just perfect. Like I said, that small adjustment from Smoothie just to get to the back of the platform. Aware of his situation. He knows he's low HP. He'll be vulnerable at the back of the site from any sort of spray down. You play that back position though, you're gonna have a chance at least 1 kill. That's what he gets. There's damage to another. And then the flashbang, so relentless from Big. They're not just running in, they're waiting for the communication to be decent. Got B, flashes from his teammates, and then he dives in with the M4 and manages to get really important kills here. Does he get all 3? He actually did. What a legend. 10 frags to his name. You see Smoothie loving this on the stage right now. We go to round number 10. There was a tactical timeout.
They're probably loving it too.
A British corner over there. It's good to see. How are you, lads? There we go.
Henry, I heard tomorrow it's actually coming home.
It might be coming home right now. Smoothie doing everything he can for Big. And now it's just a partial bite for G2. They've got the pistols, the AK-47. But still, no one really fragging for them. No one broken double digits from round number 10. That's bizarre. This is a French map.
Yeah.
This is some of the most pedigreed players we've ever had in CSGO, and they can't make a dent on the big defense.
No, it's incredible. I mean, you're right, this is a French map. Every French lineup, even in struggles, even in tumultuous times, have been able to pull success on Dust2 at the very least. It was almost a staple for them. Next, again, will take down Smiths. Good start once more for Big. Tabson on top of the site, pops up. He can use the box to his advantage. Jack in the box, if you will, but doesn't think it's fine-tuned that time as Kenny's able to pull back one more. Gobby with the nade. Shocks. Response, potential for Plant.
Didn't Plant, they wanted to fake it out, but that might cost them some time here.
Yeah, I think Plant was the better choice because now they've got control of the ramp, but there's nothing else they can do. They can overrun the last player no matter what. If he commits to a plant at this point, there's no chance. Gone down, 10-0 for Big.
It feels like this one's only going in one direction. 10-0 for the German squad here. G2 just looking at 6s and 7s right now. Nothing they can do. Every point of access to shut down by the flashbangs, the AWPs. It's so stifling for them. Barely finding any kills here. Now another compromise here. Remember, they went for the tactical purchase in the previous round. That means they have a player without a rifle here. This time will be Smiths. Kenny S hoping they get a little bit too audacious, a bit too carried away. Maybe someone to pick middle, but they're being very disciplined here. Smoothie up with the same sort of approach we saw before, trying to get that first pick in the B tunnels. Takes a couple of nades as he goes down to 46 HP.
Quick clean of Cat. The AK spray. Smith still on the CZ. He'll watch back down toward middle and try and potentially pull Kenny into position if he gets the information of anyone peeking on the other side. Pretty standard so far in getting a player as well. Body over toward B in the tunnels, just looking for information. Shocks to anchor long, and Gobby's pushed up behind the doorway along A with Tabson. With a fishing rod and some bait to pull them toward them. The matter is, in this setup though, there's not really much in the A site directly. Existence is going to drop. They want to split toward middle. Bomb left on catwalk. Real possibility to get a quick plant on A if they can get by Tabson and overwhelm his positioning.
Here we go. Towards B, a classic split coming in, but they've got no idea. The flashes are just so relentless again, Matt. And where are the rest of them? What's going on with G2? What is this approach? It's awful.
Make sense. If you're going to split, you've got to have bomb with you. You've got to go with speed. A was wide open. They pre-committed to a drop down. Now they realize it. Now Kenny says, oh, 10 seconds. Hang on, guys. There was never anyone on the platform. Does hit a shot on Gobby, but Molotov, he can't plant. He's done now. Oh, just barely. Oh, my God. I thought no way. But even then, Next denies it.
Mate, I don't know what they're doing right now. They look lost on this map. They're doing B-split fakes into like some sort of weird long control. Everyone's in a separate duel. They're not really coordinated. They're losing every single aim. Duel comes in. Yeah, cheers. Here's another jumping shot for you.
They didn't actually drink those. We don't have proof. If it wasn't on camera.
Exactly. So next, with the second jumping denial of the bomb. And we go into round number 12. It's 11-0. This is getting out of hand now.
Embarrassment almost. From G2.
I agree.
We might be in the Cathedral of Counter-Strike, but they certainly need to pray to God now if they want any rounds. Tabson's going to back off toward the car, jump up, get a different angle. Doesn't catch anyone jumping into the pit. That opportunity has already gone by, as it is Kenny that's gone down below. We have seen a few missed nades tonight.
There's been a few.
On the big side. We saw another one that time from Tabson, but that's all right. It's not going to cost them anything this time. From Existence manages one, but next gets two. Sprayed through an Existence as well as Smiths to fall, and from the grave, it's Shocks that's gone. Smooya's got middle, Tabson steps out, and it's 12-0.
Get him out of here! G2 have got nothing. As soon as they get the first pick, it all falls apart. What a sequence that was from Nex. 2 kills of the AK and takes the third from the grave. Amazing scenes here and a timeout for G2. They're 12-0 down. Their top fragger has got 7 kills. Money
The
not
enemy
there for
team
them.
is voting to forfeit, or surrender, I should say.
No way.
That's all, I'm kidding. I'm just saying that's all this timeout could be
I was like,
for.
wait, what? The first time in history.
Now, Henry. It might look like matchmaking at this point on the G2 side, but it isn't.
Good Lord, what is going on here? Is he just laughing? He's like,
I
you know
mean,
what? It's
you
like,
always
boys,
say, Henry.
yeah, if you don't laugh, you'll cry, right? Wow. Okay. I'm not going to say it's impossible just yet. G2 can find the 12-3, which is incredibly unlikely from what we've seen so far, and they've only got pistols now. They might have a chance, but this is at least going to be 13-2. Tabson, he'll get his 11th frag. Kenny's will just have to retreat. No armor, couple of basic nades.
Tizzy in to approach and contest. Shocks immediately on the other side. There's a bunch there. Gap in that smoke that actually favors Shocks to some extent, but it's all about the utility. If they can flash out Tizzy and just sprays in, it's exactly that. We've seen this too many times. If you're up close, all you do is hold down mouse 1 and let them walk into it.
Well, that's going to be the round. Existence and Body hoping to find maybe a consolation frag, but I think the money's just out of control right now. Tizian's got $16,000. The rest of them hovering around 6 to 7. And there's the penultimate kill. It's going to be Existence now in a 5-on-1 and looking down the barrel of 13-0. It's really got quite bleak out there.
Who would have thought? Both occasions, I still think G2 being this far is a good success in their behalf, but that big would be on the brink of a semi-final in their home country, in an event last year they played a show match in. They weren't even one of the main contenders a year ago. They did go to Krakow and have success at getting into a legendary position. Had some troubles ever since then. People were doubting it, made some changes, and maybe they're here to stay. We've seen some performances from a few underdog teams this event. Ents deserves a shout out as well, I think, Henry.
Absolutely. They've been fantastic. A young squad, never had this sort of experience
Sergey,
before.
I'm excited.
Yeah, he's only 16 years old. That guy's got a very bright future ahead of him. Watch out for them, but maybe watch out for Big as well. This is something quite special. It's a double AWP setup on the T side for G2 now. Kenny S and Shocks will have to work in tandem to stand any sort of chance. They need the 13-2 map. 14-1, I think everyone's aware that's just not going to be good enough. 13-2, maybe in some universe that will be possible for them. So for now, it's a default. We'll see another smoke come through, and that really has been the taking factor for me from this particular series. Just the smokes, the flashbangs, the HEs, the incendiaries. It's just been too much. G2 don't have a response for it. They're trying to play this, like, not so much puck stuff, but a lot of defaults are trying to work picks, but they've just got no opportunities. Everywhere they go, they're being shut down by flames and high explosives. 1 minute remaining. Kenny S has at least found an opening, but it's Smuya to strike first. He'll take down Shoxy. That finds the bomb. They know it's a beast, but look at the flashbangs. The teamwork is just off the scale. 2 dinks come through. Kenny S and Smith's now low.
It is 2 dinks. They at least get the kill in the favor of G2, which opens up middle, but look at Gompy's position again as he slides out, takes down Smith.
Where's the trade?
Still Kenny, he's low. Existence will run through. Timing off as Gompy realizes to look back to B. Wasn't expecting a second player to be that far behind. Gets Smuya. There's a chance for this as they have the site to work with. Bomb to be planted. Tabson's not willing to rotate until such time that is confirmed. He will go now. Tizian holding the door. Might spot Body, but better shot. Is the shutout broken? That's the question. Kenny on 7 HP has the AWP toward the tunnels. Tabson will take the same approach his teammate formerly did. Picks up a kid in the process and has the AWP up close. Not gonna happen. Body finally gets G2 on the board. 13-1, mind you.
Somber scenes in the G2 camp. I don't think there'll be many fist bumps there
sobering,
right now.
yeah.
So, first round for them. You can see they're just like really crumbling a lot of areas. They don't seem to be going into these duels together, really relying on individuals to deliver world-class stuff. We haven't seen much of that here on Dust2. 3 snipers, one of which is a scout. Kenny S not with the AWP, okay. He'll be on the AK, apparently. Smith's had a good spawn, and it works out for him. Gets the first kill, takes down Tabson, will give the AWP back.
Even threw the scout down suicide. Said, forget it, this didn't work. I'll go back to the AK instead. Tabson down early. G2 looking for back-to-back rounds, believe it or not. Wasn't even sure they were going to find one for a period of time. Good find from Smuya. Shuts down middle immediately. Smith's the one that he finds, therefore. In toward the doorway, it's smoked off. 2 players to cover it, as well as Smooya next. They have the potential to even push through on this. They've got flashes. Could catch Kenny. He's making a lot of noise running out from lower. They're going to know his position. Got the boost ready. Oh, they fell off of it. Because if he stayed on top of that boost, they would have been able to spot him on the backside of Xbox. Molotov to move them as they've given up their position via noise as well. Counter, and everyone backs off.
4 on 4.
Tizzy, and oh, this is perfect. Gun barrel, not even. Shoulder instead.
That was their entrance, and got beat. Misses the orb this time, jumps off to almost safety, takes a bit of damage there, but there's the smoke, buys himself some time. That's what they've been doing in the last few seconds, 40 seconds this time. Drop the smoke, send them packing to where you want them to head, and that's where Nex is in this perfect position. I love this spot so much. It shuts down B splits, will even get to do one. The Flames holding them off right now. I feel like Nex is getting a couple of kills as he looks for Shoxy. He was aware of it. He gets hit, but finds the kill. 25 seconds, and God B surely gets at least one here to close things out. Hits the shot, not quite. 3 on 2.
Got the leg, but that's all. Enough to keep him up and enough for Kenny to capitalize as Gobby falls, but Smooya's in position. Incendiary out, they're both low. That could do damage. Does it reach Kenny? It will, but he just barely jumps away, and jumping away, he goes directly toward him. And the King of England gets one more. It's now 14-1.
What can you say about this one? G2 on their map pick, getting absolutely battered here. There's surely no chance of a comeback. They would need the perfect game at this point.
Well, it's been anything but perfect. So to imagine that suddenly the tables will turn to that extent is highly unlikely. Big are on the brink of a semi-final in Cologne. At 14-1, Henry, should we even say the obvious?
They need the pistol to stay in this one, man.
Glad you said it, not me.
Here's the stats. No one on G2 got double digits, surely not. Let me double check that. No one got double digits there.
And everyone on double digits on the other side. So the lowest fragger is Tabson, believe it or not, has more than the highest on G2.
That's insane. I've never seen anything like it. Oh, here we go then. Could be a very quick finish here if Big pick up the pistol. They're going to have series points in one round if they do so. And then that will be it, I'm afraid. G2 need this one desperately. As Godby and co head back towards T-spawn. Looks like a B finishes up there.
You mentioned this as well. The top team in everyone's mind right now, based on ingenuity, based on tactical approach, skill, Astralis.
Yep.
This was a close game against G2 on Dust2.
Indeed. And it seems like Big have just got too much going on strategically in their research. I don't know what they're doing over there, but it's looking superb right now. They could be threats for the title now. This performance, it could happen. This is
Godby, he's always, I mean, you remember Anders in Theorycraft. Godby used to be one of the players he would often talk to about some of the theories to see how they could be applied, and he definitely thinks about the game a lot. Next, all he's thinking about is this round, and he'll take out Body immediately. They'll converge back, or coagulate, if you will, to try and clot everything inside the middle on the CT side. It's Kenny that swings. He's able to get Next back, and that outdrops the bomb forward, but he can't hold it. Shox has other ideas in swinging behind them. They're now pincered, and they're going to go back toward Shox. That gives him a very easy headshot perspective toward the doorway. Godby again to respond.
Here we go then, 2 on 2. It's that tag team duo of Smooya and Godby, usually playing sides together. Now they need to clutch together as they got 20 seconds remaining. Smooya pincered behind the Xbox there. Can he find the shot in existence? It's scrappy, but he's got it! And it leaves Smiths with 25 HP now. This could be it. It's almost guaranteed to be it at this point. Bomb down. Smiths, he has got the kit, but he needs to find 2 perfect headshots at this point. Surely not possible. One bullet pretty much takes him down as he comes up towards short. Very tentative stuff, and they'll face him together as soon as he gets close enough. They're going to call a 1, 2, 3 peek at the same time. That will be the call here.
Oh, shoulder.
There we go.
They called it, you're right. Shoulder was showing they went at the perfect time. Godby gets the kill. 14 turns to 15, and we might have this turning into a semi-final day tomorrow quite quickly.
Lovely stuff there. Great coordination. I can just feel it coming. The way they're playing right now, they're not making any mistakes. They might not have the craziest big names in the squad, but...
What do you mean? They all have big names.
Exactly. I know. It's a difficult team to cast, but they do have amazing teamwork and spirit here. 15-1. As Gold B looks to close things out. The four-man stack. Flashbangs come through. The in-game leader won't be closing it out himself, but Tizian fighting back too for Nail here, but the pistols prevailing so far. But that does give away a stack towards the A side of the map, especially towards Long, and that's why they're grabbing the ball and getting the hell out of there. Smooya trying to take down what he knows will be the only player in towards that B site. If he takes down Smiths quickly, that should be game. He's ready for it. It's Tabson to find existence. If they take down Smiths, that's going to be a GG, but Smiths still fighting back 2-on-2 here, but not for long. That should be it now, and there we go!
What a shot to close it as well! Through the smoke, through the doors, down to CT, headshot on a scout, 16-1. And that is a big performance, as they'll book themselves a semi-final spot on Saturday, tomorrow. And I'd be proud of that if I were them as well. They'll be laughing about it all the way to the bank, all the way. Back to the hotel this evening where they'll get some rest. G2, I will give them credit, had a good start to the group stage, and after everything they've gone through in the last few months, perhaps this is about as far as you ever could have dreamt for them, but either way, this is still not how they would have liked it to have gone down.
That's all from us, Matt. What a fantastic game that was. Congratulations to Big, commiseration to G2. We'll throw it over to the analysts.
Jetzt geht los, cool! Big Clan have exceeded all expectations. First the quarters, now the semis. They say ESL One Cologne doesn't have a home team. It looks like the 5th time round there's an exception to the rule, as Big Clan do rule under an iron fist as well. G2 decimated on the second map. We thought this was going to take us to that decider. We thought Inferno was on the cards. And it does look like we have God B, respected by all, standing by on the stage. And it does look like he's ready. Let's head over to hear from him before we start breaking this down.
Thank you, Machine. It's been a while since mine and this man's passed across, and I don't like swear words. I think this is a family show, but fuck! My God! What were you doing in that final map? That was amazing. It was immense.
We just keep rolling. It was, everyone had his moments. It was just insane. And yeah, what can I say now?
16-1. 16-1.
Yeah, it was. We knew the T-half was not that strong, and we just said, let's focus on our CT side. We will have a lot of rounds, and we had a good start, and then keep rolling. Yeah.
We've seen a lot of esports events where there's been amazing crowds. Look at this right now. Look at this reaction you're getting from people here. No words needed at all. The problem is, after doing that to G2, you've now got FaZe in the semi-finals. How do you prepare for that?
We will go eat now, relax, watch demos, and have a good mood, and coming back to these guys tomorrow, and then everything's possible.
How are you staying so calm? You're the calmest man in the Lanxess.
Yeah, I need to stay calm, because our emotions, if they go a roller coaster style, it will be always hard. So we need to stay calm. Now we can be happy with them, and then tomorrow everything's possible, as I said before. Yeah.
And what was the secret of that win here in the quarterfinal? What was the secret?
It's obvious, right?
It is, it's the crowd. What a man. We're going to get you to sign the screen right now. Sign the camera for us. What a man, what a captain. It's Gobby, ladies and gentlemen, and Big!
Unbelievable scenes. A 2-0. If this was ever going to happen in anyone's mind, it was never going to be this easy. Duncan, 16-1.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, obviously, G2's pick was actually the map that they looked the strongest on in the tournament so far, so no excuses on their side. I mean, they played obviously very, very poorly, but every single big play came from the big team. Yeah. Every single clutch went their way. It didn't matter even when they actually were in scenarios that weren't favorable. They were always winning them. The Tabson one, obviously. How many clutches did Smooya have in this series as well? Every time he needed like a key play, he was decisive. You know, he was never waiting back. Yeah. Whereas actually, it was the G2 players who looked a bit shook in this series for me.
I mean, I don't want to start using kind of sweeping statements, but momentum is a word we use a lot. I did feel like Big came into this second map sprinting.
Oh, for sure, and we were talking about that start, right? We were talking about how, yes, G2 is good on Dust2, but it mostly comes from their CT sides. Their T sides can be a little bit shaky, and, you know, yes, Kenny S had a great game on Cash, but if you end up losing the pistol and then you buy in the third round, you know, he's not going to even get that top in his hands until midway through the first half, and at that point, Big has all the momentum on their side. They just mentally, you can tell in these rounds, everyone was playing with a lot of confidence. They were going into every duel, every fight like they knew they were going to win it. While on the other side, as Duncan pointed out, G2 just looked completely shook, right? It seemed like they didn't believe in themselves in some of these rounds, and it obviously enhances the whole effect and the game and makes it even worse for G2.
Looks like Smooya's found his fan club. There was definitely a little UK corner as well as the big corner there on the right-hand side of your screen as well. Lots of support for them coming out, no surprises there. But you know, are we going to start saying that this is, you know, bad signs for G2, or did they truly just get outclassed and outpaced here?
It's a bad sign in as much as this is actually the sort of game that made the players that he's playing with now lose faith in existence. I've tweeted this during the game, but I actually had PTSD because there was a very similar match like this that happened at a major, DreamHack Cluj in 2015, where the first map wasn't G2 at the time, it was Titan. Sure. They had this big lead on Cash versus NIP. They lost that in narrow fashion. I think it was overtime there as well. Then the second map was Dust2, and almost the same thing happened. I think they got beaten 16-1 or something. They had a terrible T side with almost no frags. Existence was low fragging. It's a similar kind of scenario. And so I think once they take a scope of the whole event, they'll see the massive positives. They got as far as this. Maybe didn't even know they'd make it out that bracket. But this was a very winnable map on paper. Yeah. This was a game that actually, especially when you were so close in the first game, you should have thought you had a shot at top four. So on the one hand, you're really disappointed. There's something to take away, but this is going to be in the back of your mind until you kind of wipe it away with another tournament, I think.
And something Smooya will be taking away is, of course, that force buy. We do have the replay, the clip for you. I mean, this was, of course, on that first map. This was when they did have that all presence, and it's just...
And this was such a very weird decision from Existence. He can hear the scope. He knows the Smooya is in there. He can even hear him pull out a grenade. And there, he asked for a flash. It's not ideal. But why are you walking into this peak? If he just took a wide peak,
fast.
Yeah, a fast peak, he would have gotten the kill. Also, obviously, he doesn't know you've snuck up.
Yes.
Why not maybe try to walk all the way up highway with your team exploding out of main? You can backstab too. It just seemed like a very weird call. And even in itself, it wasn't executed properly. Nex ends up picking up that AK, and then from heaven gets 3 kills.
Yeah, that was the key element, was that you have to remember the big guys were on a save except Smooya's AWP. They were all just saving for the next round to try and go to OT, and they ended up winning that round outright because of that ridiculous play from Existence that then led to Nex's 3K.
Now, we didn't get to interview Kenny, but he has taken to social media. We can see what he's been saying, if my eyesight's any good. I'm so sad. Yeah, just wishing them good luck to Big Clan as well, and thanking to the fans for supporting them through what was a devastating loss. Those are the worst, especially in front of a crowd like this.
Absolutely, and I think it's worrying a little bit for G2 because it's not the end of the world for them to lose to Big, but completely crumbling on the big stage. You know, these are some of the most veteran players we have in CSGO, guys who have won majors, won big tournaments, right, played on the big stage. It's very much worrying that they lose in such a fashion, because that's something they should have had, the mental fortitude, right, the experience to never give up and to grind their way back into the game.
And if anything, I'd have suggested that would have been Big. Big would have been the team who would sit there and witness them choking and witness them
in this particular second map as well, like Tizium was the guy who at one point in time towards the end of the game had like 123 ADR for the whole map. So this is a player where you could have banked that he's the player who'd choke, you know. Actually, if you remember when they first brought him in the team, he looked like he was going to go immediately out, came out with this twit longer where he basically said like, oh, you know, the environment was really bad, like I didn't kind of get the chance that I wanted in this. So everything's turned around for him.
I think that was that Lucker guy.
Whatever. At this point in time, fair
there were a few guys going in and out.
They searched for a fifth for a while.
But yeah, I think in the end for G2, if you tell them before the tournament you're going to be in the playoffs, that would be great for us. Sure. But you're going to lose in the playoffs for Big, no way. Like, you know, like, they wouldn't have expected to go out in this way. Yeah. So I think with Existence in the team, he said, what, 6 months or a year that he needs. I wouldn't give him that much. That's a bit insane. But obviously they need more time with that structure to get up to the level that they need to play at. And with Big, the way they've been playing, the way they've been zoned in, they're obviously playing above their average level. Tomorrow versus FaZe, who knows what can happen.
Tomorrow versus FaZe, he's already talked about it. This is the bracket to reinforce it. We started with 6 teams today here in our debut in the Lanxess in 2018, and now just 4 remain. It's going to be Astralis versus Na'Vi, and we have Big versus FaZe Clan. I don't know which one I'm looking forward to more, actually. Now, I mean, we saw Carrigan's tweet saying he's looking for revenge from Krakow. That's another spicy meatball.
Absolutely. That was, you know, FaZe, one of the favorites to win the whole thing. They go out 0-3 in the group stages, and after that, they made the roster change, bringing all of Meister and Guardian. But I'm very much looking forward to Na'Vi Astralis, because I think Na'Vi, if they peak, I think they have a good chance versus Astralis.
Duncan, is he talking crazy words?
If you have simple, anything's possible. So absolutely, this could be a game like that. The problem I see there is Astralis is just too good in terms of team play. So that's the one area I've seen some failings from Na'Vi from. They still are a very, very good team. Also, the map pool, if Astralis really want to, they can flex that all over the place.
Yeah.
Since I won't be doing that game, what I love about the matchup is Na'Vi is a team that force buys the most and has almost the highest success rate in force buying. And Astralis, obviously amazing in gun rounds. So if any team can kind of make them play as few gun rounds as possible, it's going to be Na'Vi.
My God. All right. Well, I'm already excited, and I have to sleep before I get to see that game, so I think we should probably go ahead and call it there. It's been an absolute blast bringing you the action here from the Lanxess. There's still crowd hanging out here. I think they're just enjoying the vibe. I can see all you guys. It's been wonderful, and a step closer to that trophy, the infamous ESL One Cologne trophy. The battle continues tomorrow, as just 4 teams out of the 6